Hey guys, welcome back to eDoggy's Garage. Thanks for stopping by. Behind me is our 1965 Mustang 427 Hemi small block build. We built this car 16 years ago and it's been a great car, but it's time for some upgrades. We're going to take you through all of that. We're going to put a different engine in it, all new front suspension, new brakes, new transmission. We're going to modify the rear end housing, put in a new third member and new axles. We're going to make this thing more of an autocrosser than just a regular street car. We've got some things to do inside the driver's compartment. Classic Instruments is going to help us with some of their new autocross gauges. We got a lot going on. Today I'm down here pulling the rear end out. We're going to make some changes on it and I'll show you what we're going to do. So as I said, I'm down here pulling the rear end housing out of the Mustang. We're going to make some changes to the rear end housing. We're going to cut 1 inch off each side, so we're going to narrow it because we want to put forge line wheels on it, and we want to develop a certain amount of concave with the wheel width that we're trying to create. Put a strange third member in it that's designed for autocross. We're going from a 28 spline to a 35 spline axle. Other than that, the suspension is going to stay the same. So today I'm down here to take the housing out, getting this project started. So I got the rear end housing out from underneath the Mustang. Something I've never done before. I've never narrowed an axle housing. So I'm going to take 1 inch off of each side. I'm going to add some structure to it to give it a little bit more support, which these are going to be heavily modified. We don't have as much room behind the differential housing to have all of that meet, so we're going to actually narrow those down slightly and we're going to shorten them up. And then we've got this All-Star Performance bung, real nice cap. We're going to add that to the housing also. We've got our 9-inch Ford housing over here in the fab shop. As I mentioned before, we're going to have to make some modifications on this housing before we put it back in our 1965 Mustang. We're going to run an aluminum strange third member. It takes up just a little bit more space than our old third member, so we had to remove a little bit of material from our housing in order to get it to fit. We're just going to plug weld those back up and we'll be okay right there. We're going to add some bracing to this housing. These braces have to be modified, have to be reprofiled, shortened. We have to do some cuts on them for our sway bar brackets, and then they have to be welded on. We're going to show you how we get to that point. We're going to take 1 inch off of both sides of this housing. While we're taking that inch off, we're going to replace the bearing flanges. We've got small bearing flanges on this housing right now. We're going to go to the big Ford bearing flange. While we've got the flanges cut off of it, we're going to remove this outer bracket on both sides and we're going to close this gap, which is where our lower control arm goes, and it's going to help us with some spacing problems that we have. Once we cut this outer bracket off, we went to our local water jet guy, gave him a pattern. He cut these out, real simple. We'll just replace them after we get all this cut apart. And then to finish up, we're going to put this All-Star Performance bung in the top of our housing with this real nice aluminum cap so it makes it easier to put gear oil in this thing.